Moving on to No Hard Feelings. Unfortunately, I believe Tyler's the only one that got a chance to see this one this week, as Tyler carries this pod on his back. But on the brink of losing her childhood home, a desperate woman played by Jennifer Lawrence agrees to date a wealthy couple's introverted and awkward 19-year-old son. However, he proves to be more of a challenge than she expected, and time is running out before she loses it all. No Hard Feelings, directed by Gene Stupnitsky. I don't know. Obviously starring Jennifer Lawrence, as mentioned, Andrew Barth Feldman, who I believe dropped out of Harvard to film this, which, yeah, of course, that was a big story, but yeah, of course you would. Why would you not? Or maybe he took the year off or something, but those are the two main stars. Tyler, I believe you really like this. I think it has I'm going to bring up Seth's favorite movie reviewing site. It has a 60% on Rotten Tomatoes, which doesn't really mean anything, but seems a lot lower than what the reception I see of it online is. I feel like most people are really, really enjoying it. I know it's not a 60 out of 100. All right, 3.4, but that seems more fair. I just feel like a 60% is lower than what I see online. So Tyler, give your thoughts.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this. I think we are in a revival of the comedy genre right now. It is different than it was in the 2000s. This is a 2000s comedy for sure. But just within the past 2 weeks, seeing The Blackening, Joyride, and No Hard Feelings, these are all three comedies that hit really well. Whereas so many of the comedies we're used to, because I feel like comedy as a genre has kind of died the past few years, because I feel like it's easy to do for streaming originals. So we've just been so saturated with this bad Netflix original comedies, just bad streaming comedies, like The Day Shifts and all those awful You People, all those awful streaming comedies. So it's rare that we get a true theater release, true comedy that isn't something that's packed with romance or packed with sadness. I feel like a pure comedy people are straying away from. But Joyride, No Hard Feelings are incredibly raunchy comedies. The Blackening is an incredibly edgy comedy. So this summer's been very good, I think, for the pure comedy. And No Hard Feelings, just going to address this right off the bat. People doing the whole if roles were reversed. So Jennifer Lawrence is a 32-year-old woman. Andrew Barth Feldman's a 19-year-old man. So if we did a 32-year-old man going after a 19-year-old woman, that explains about 99% of Hollywood movies. So stop with this whole if the roles are reversed. 32-year-old man and a 19-year-old woman. That's just Hollywood. That's just every movie ever. That's every real life relationship ever too. I swear there's Al Pacino and Robert De Niro have freaking people that are 70 years younger than them, and no one cares about that. But this movie really wasn't creepy. It didn't toe the line. I think a lot of people from the trailers thought this could be a very predatory, creepy movie. It really wasn't. It doesn't really go past that edge, past that limit. It is raunchy though, because Jennifer Lawrence, again, just like Scarlett Johansson, full nudity for an extended time. It's not even just a quick snap. It's a 2-minute scene of her completely naked.
I'll be seeing it tomorrow then.
Yeah, every inch of her body is fully there, and it's not quick. It's just it's a long scene. So definitely raunchy in that matter. And yeah, she was just incredible. I think it's just the type of movie she's meant for. Even though she is great in dramas like Causeway, she's great as a lead girl in The Hunger Games, but I think her natural energy and her natural personality lended itself super well to this movie.
I can imagine that. I actually think Jennifer Lawrence is quite funny in a lot of things.
When you see her real life interviews and stuff like that, this just feels like this is a very natural movie for her. And Andrew Barth Feldman was every bit her equal in terms of he was super funny, played off each other super well. The hit rate on the comedy I thought was insane. I think it's obviously impossible to have a comedy that you think every joke is funny in. So it's definitely not that. There's definitely things that I was oh, that's not that funny, which is, I said this in my Joyride review, which talk about it a little later, I guess, that if a comedy is a 50% hit rate for me, I think that's really good. If half the jokes hit, I'm okay, that was really good. No. I think it's even higher than 50%, but there's still definitely parts. And I think it is a rush, not rush in terms of they should have packed in more, but it's just a short movie. It's 90 minutes, which is a perfect comedy length. But that means some of the story gets wrapped up super quick and story kind of progresses super quick. Because basically she's trying to save money in order to save her house because her parents pass away and she inherits the house from them. But just because you get a free house doesn't mean you don't have to pay for it because you have to pay taxes. And she basically just works as a bartender. So she doesn't have enough money. And it's she's living in not a gentrified area, but it's an area when she got the house, it's basically boomed since. So her property taxes are crazy now and she can't afford it. So that's why she has to kind of go through these things because her car gets like totaled. Yeah, her car gets totaled and towed, so she has to get this new car from this family, which is kind of how this all gets kicked into motion. She has to try and get a car to be an Uber driver to save money. And yeah, I just think it's super funny. She's basically just like a super predator. Like she's like, she doesn't even try to hide it. She literally just tries to like force this guy to date her. And then basically she realizes that doesn't work. So then they end up getting a genuine connection. It's fun. It's cute. It's like barely a 4-star for me. It's a 7.5 out of 10. So it's like,
oh, 4-star. Interesting. Though.
Yeah. So it's like a 3.5 to 4. I just think I rated this extra highly because I usually dislike comedies a lot. And this felt a lot like a 2000s comedy. And this is just like the type of movie I really hope succeeds, because the mid-budget comedy I truly think is like just like a dying thing. We don't get any instant classics anymore. Like immediately when The Hangover and Step Brothers came out, people knew immediately that that's a classic. Like you just know right away when stuff like that comes out. Whereas we haven't had really anything like that from the comedy genre in a long time, I feel like. So I just hope this does well. The mid-budget comedy. Jennifer Lawrence is awesome in this. And yeah, it's just a good.
I thought this had quite a high budget. Does it not?
Well, like mid-budget, so like 45 million. Like it's not 100+ million.
I don't know what comedies usually are, to be honest. I'm not really too sure.
It depends. Like I think like the grown-ups movies are pretty expensive just because they have so many actors that people know in it. But yeah, like I think people enjoy this. Like I said, like there's a lot of full frontal nudity, or a lot of everywhere nudity for Jennifer Lawrence. So like if there's like a movie you're like, oh, I'm gonna go see it with like my mom and dad, just keep that in mind. If you get awkward with that kind of things, like it's like a 2.5 minute scene that you'll probably be very awkward during if you go with your parents. But yeah, there's like the only other people in my theater were like older people, which is weird, like couples. And yeah, I don't know. I just feel like from the trailers, I wouldn't see any reason why any person not in like a younger generation would think this was an interesting movie. But I guess Jennifer Lawrence is just that kind of girl that people want to go and see. She's a true movie star. So yeah, fun movie. I'd recommend it to anyone. Same with The Blackening and Joyride. Like I just think the comedies coming out in the summer are actually pretty good.
Yep. We'll see when I see this, because I know Emma wants to go see it with me, so that kind of limits.
Yeah, Anna wants to with me.
To when we can get a babysitter. But I do want to watch it. I do love Jennifer Lawrence. Grown Ups 1 and 2 both had a budget of $80 million. But like you said, they have a cast, and Adam Sandler is just running a money laundering scheme to get all his friends paid. So it makes sense that they had a very high budget. Any other comments on No Hard Feelings from Seth or George? Any thoughts? Okay.
I'll see it next week, probably. I don't know.